So last week, 4 people were found dead on the Gold Coast and everybody is talking about it. Some were found in the water, one was wrapped in plastic, allegedly, and there's even been talk that there was a 5th person that mysteriously showed up as well. Like, the locals are worried. TikTok is on fire. I've had DMs about this, and the Queensland Police are basically saying that there is nothing suspicious about it at all. They even made a TikTok on social media to say that we shouldn't believe everything that is on TikTok on social media. So in this video, I've done a little bit of digging and I want to break down exactly what I found of what happened so that we can either be worried or rest assured that the police are taking care of it. We discuss if there's really a reason that we should be concerned. What, Remy? Are you scared? Are you scared, Remy? Okay, let's break it down so that we can see if the police do have any reason for it to be suspicious. Okay, so there's a first lady. She was in her 50s and she was found inside her Queen Street apartment in Southport. Apparently she'd been missing for a few days and the police went to do a welfare check on her. Now, some reports are saying that she was wrapped in plastic, but I don't know about that because that is suspicious. I don't know if this is normal or not, but now I can't find any articles relating to this. But ChatGPT is actually saying that earlier last week there was reports of it, but now can't find any articles. So if you know anything about this, please let me know in the comments. Because the only article that I can now find from someone that's passed away in Southport was from the 29th of July, and that was a man, 44-year-old, who was taken to the Gold Coast University Hospital but had passed away there. It's a little bit confusing because the news articles don't seem to match up now, because there was a gentleman that was found Echo Beach on Sunday morning and he was in his 60s, and then a day later there was a lady that was found near Palm Beach, surf lifesaving, and she was in her 70s or 80s, and at the time they couldn't identify her. That was within 24 hours, and I think that is what triggered people's suspicion. And then I also found some information about a man in his 20s or 30s that was found dead in a pool. So this is why I think it's confusing and why people like myself or people that are reading the news and then you randomly hear of things, it feels like it's not getting reported properly. Because Wednesday, this is the thing that really triggered me, because on Wednesday near Whitsunday Drive, there was a lady fully clothed and I heard that she was wrapped in plastic on the news. Now, I can't find that news article anywhere, but it was actually what was reported on the TV. And then later reports found that she was wearing a life vest. And then later it was said that she was wearing a children's life vest and that she had rope around her and that she had a backpack. So this all sounds so bizarre and it feels like articles have been pulled, and I might just be getting it all wrong, and I'm hoping that that's all it is, because it could be that the news, once they're reporting it immediately, but then they're giving us the wrong news and then it's not making it to the internet. Because after that, I feel like lots of people on my TikTok were saying that there's actually been a 5th death in the same week that they're calling suspicious, but we never heard anything more about that. And I don't know if it's just because there was so many that happened at the time that it could have been that this happened and then another one happened, but that wasn't actually the 5th one, it was just the 4th one. And all over social media, people are worried, like something feels off. And fair enough. I mean, 4 deaths in one area in 1 week and no real explanation. I feel like that's why people are a little bit suspicious. And I've seen the TikToks and the DMs and the people commenting on my post that I did saying that they don't feel safe. And I mean, I get it. I guess it probably doesn't help that, like, just last week there was that documentary that was on the TV about the deaths that have occurred between Byron Bay and Newcastle, and I guess that made me scared too. I don't want my daughter walking on her own. Everyone has to be vigilant. If someone is doing that, they can move. They just move around Australia. Who knows where they are? I mean, again, we're speculating. Said things like, what about the bodies from the Brisbane River? They could possibly be all connected. A lot of people are freaking out on the Gold Coast because the cops don't want to do anything about it. One person said that they heard an Australian reporter say that a woman was found in a garbage bin dead, and after thorough investigation they felt that the death was not suspicious. So this one actually said the most recent one was pulled out by a mutual friend's dad. He said that there was absolutely no way it wasn't a murder due to there being rope and other materials that they were wrapped in, not to mention that there was rocks placed inside the vests, all plastic. My close friend, who also lives 2 minutes away, had been hearing knocking on windows and doors the last coming month. With that being said, I'm not sure that they're related, connected to this murder. Oh my gosh, that is freaky. I only just seen that comment on my post. Another one said that they've done some reading into it and 2 are elderly people. Okay. And then there was another one that was 31 that was found in a pool. So clearly that was something as well. Wonder what, that he's saying that was a possible overdose. But definitely the weirdest one was the lady in the river. It was an Asian lady. And they're saying that it's not suspicious, but she had a life vest on and a bag of beach belongings on the sand. Maybe she drowned though. I'm not going to read out all of these, but I will put this post in the description below in case you want to watch it and look at all the comments. But this another person said a few months back, a guy was found burnt alive in a car park and it was labelled non-suspicious. And a month or so later, a guy was found in a pool of blood with a massive head injury in an underground car park and the same result. Not suspicious. I also had someone comment that they live in that area and that there was a suspicious van in their street and they reported it to the police, and that all the locals are feeling very uncomfortable and a bit scared. I just have to share this last one, which was actually from the Queensland Police on my post saying, "Hey Queensland, we want to assure the public that there is no risk to community safety and all matters are being treated as non-suspicious and unrelated." I feel a little bit more comfortable with that, but I don't know. When you get conspiracy theories going on in your head, it really does freak you out. I'm gonna play this video.
Okay, so there are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around on social media. So I'd just like to tell everyone, please don't believe what you see on social media. All these matters were unrelated and non-suspicious and have been referred to the coroner, and there is no threat to the safety of the community.
Does it make cops' job a bit more difficult, this sort of floating around in the ether, this idea that there's a serial killer on the loose and cops have missed a trick here?
We know that they're non-suspicious matters. We've done our investigations. We just like to remind people, don't always believe what you see on social media. Okay, so there are a lot of conspiracies.
Which is so funny. I'm sorry, I have to say, I wrote on that post, thank you so much for the reassurance. We appreciate your work, or something like that. And then I wrote, plus also this was a post on social media. I can't remember what I wrote, but I wanted to write something like that. So we shouldn't believe this either. I'll put that post down below as well so that you can have a look at it and you can read some of the comments. I think it's just, the comments that get you worried. If we just did listen to the police, then we probably wouldn't be worried. But then people start putting things in your head and you get freaked out. But I can't see how it's a problem, because if everyone's being more cautious and that we're being more vigilant, we're not walking on our own, we're not, let's say these are just drownings. If people are with other people while they're swimming, all these types of things to make us more cautious, to be more protected of ourselves, then I can't see any harm in that. It's better to be scared than stupid. But is this normal? It might sound... That noise is annoying. It might sound strange, but here is some context. So to understand the scale, Australia has logged about 183,000 deaths in 2023. And around 4,800 people die every year in the region of the Gold Coast. So that's 90 to 100 deaths every week, either from being elderly, natural causes, illness, accidents. Statistically speaking, that is not very many deaths in 1 week. There is probably 100 others that we haven't even heard about. I guess what makes it feel so odd is that these people were found in public places in what seems to be odd circumstances. And I guess because the people were found floating in rivers and almost within 24 or 12 hours of each other, that kind of makes you feel uneasy that there's more to it than that. But it's probably not unusual for 3 people to drown in 1 week. But in terms of actual numbers of people passing away and deaths in that little section, it's not unusual. What's up, Ruby? You just wanting to come in, are you? Some people are asking the questions, what if this is part of something a bit bigger? Do we have a new serial killer on the Gold Coast? And while Queensland isn't quite the crime capital, there have been some really disturbing and high-profile cases in the past. Like William McDonald, and he was called the Mutilator, operated in the 1960s, mostly between Sydney and Brisbane. Clive Nicholson, a convicted killer from the Gold Coast in the 1990s, but he wasn't linked to multiple victims. Tim Pullen, he went missing in 2012 and was never found. His suspected killers were convicted without a body. But I don't know if you did watch that documentary about all the people missing. I think it was like 63 or 67 between Newcastle or like up the East Coast. And then like what? There has to be a lot more. There sounds like there's so many people going missing. Like what's happening to them? Or like this girl is saying that her brother went missing and they got his name wrong, they got his height wrong, and then they said it was not suspicious. I'm going to do a whole video on this one because I want to do some more research about this particular case, because I could just imagine, like, these people are people's family. How they must be feeling if they've got suspicions that it's murder and then it's just classed as non-suspicious and you never know what actually happened to them. From what I can gather, there doesn't seem to be any major criminal investigation going on. It's like we are just coming up with this and it's not an issue, but I don't know. Again, there's no harm in being vigilant and careful and a little bit scared, because then you're going to protect yourself a little bit more. So from my research, that's the end of the case. There is nothing confirmed suspicious, no serial killer. All were accidental or tragic deaths on the Gold Coast, but nothing that's unusual statistics-wise, and no spike in deaths. That's very normal for 90 to 100 people to die in that area every single week. But still, I understand how the community and how we can get scared and how quickly stories can be spread online when there are unusual deaths 3 in a row within kind of 2 or 3 days. In the meantime, be kind to each other, be careful, and make sure that you're not one of these statistics. And if you're road tripping, go with someone. If you're going swimming, go with someone, and hold your babies and your family tight. I know that I'm going to be a little bit more careful, even though these are not suspicious, but still it's opened my eyes up to a lot more what's happening in the world and what is happening to people that are going on road trips. And I'm going to be sharing more about that. So make sure that you subscribe and follow along. And thank you so much for joining me today in this little corner of the internet. And if you want to share any stories with me, please do so down in the comments below. And let me know if you think there's any more to this story, or do you think that maybe it was just a sad and tragic week and we heard about it in the news. See you next time. Bye.